Okay. The Great American Bash. Night 1. I am going to put 2024 in it so it won't get lost in the shuffle. When you go and look on YouTube, you will see the Great American Bash 2024 review. Or Great American Bash 2024 Night 1 review. I think that might be the title of this video. Because there are more than a few Great American Bash from NXT. But let's crank back a little bit before we even get started with this. There's a good amount of stuff here, and I'm going to tell you this was a good show. I'm not going to tell you it was bad. It actually was, and I'm actually ending with Roxanna Perez, not Joe Henry. But due to the fact Joe Henry and the Rascals were shown on NXT, I must say something. And I haven't heard anybody disagree with me, but I got to say this whether you agree or disagree. What are we getting from TNA? Not much. What are we getting from NXT? A lot. What are we getting from this collab? NXT, TNA. NXT is getting Joe Henry, the Rascals. They had Jordan Grace. You cannot tell me those are people that have not been staples of TNA, that people love, and particularly Joe Henry, who is now a star. He's skyrocketed. He is a star. And they're making it more about him than anything else. What has TNA received? Tatum Paxley, the Quarter Catch Crew. Yeah, and I'll talk about them in the Heritage Cup, which was Joe Gacy. Well, not Joe Gacy. Sorry, I'm thinking about the Wyatt Six. But you get Charlie Dempsey, you get Bourne, and you get Tavion Heights. No Damon Kemp. I think he's hurt or he's off for the moment. I don't know what happened to him. But the point is, that's it. That's it. We have got nothing but Tatum Paxley, Tavion Heights, Bourne, and Charlie Dempsey. And Jordan Grace. That's it. We've given them way more than they've given us. So that's my major concern. Wondering what we're getting this TNA. If it's still nothing, particularly after Slammiversary, where people were actually upset that we literally didn't get any huge surprises other than, what was it? We only got what? A wedding ceremony? A match that was a repeat from that Thursday, which was the Quarter Catch Crew versus the Rascals and Kushida removed, and a Wesley that was inserted. That's it. The Quarter Catch Crew and the Rascals only with Wesley. And then we get a wedding. We hear we're going to get a wedding. NXT, TNA. Now let's move on. I will tell you this show was actually quite good. I will tell you that I was not very interested in the first match, and that was Women's Tag Championships. When we got and understand, I am not against a Alba Fire and Isla Dawn. I like Isla Dawn. I like Alba Fire. I actually kind of like Isla Dawn more. I'm not going to lie. I'm kind of partial to Isla Dawn. There's something there. It's not just because she's... Let's make it clear. She is this. She's built. But when she was doing the witch thing, it was a bit interesting. And her personality now as tag champ hasn't been that bad. But when you see this, when you're up against Last Legends and Miss Jackson, who we rarely see in the ring, and that's Miss Jackson. She's rarely going in the ring. She's more of a manager than anything else. I'm not taking anything from her. She may be doing something on Speed. She may be doing something on Main Event. We don't see it. So the only person that makes the best sense in that match is Last Legend, because we've seen her be booked very well. So when you see this match, what did you actually think? You actually were going to get a real competitive match that you felt like Isla Dawn and Alba Fire really felt important? No. The only person that felt was important was Last Legends. When you see Miss Jackson, she's barely had any time in the ring. Now, either she's been hurt multiple times. You see me botching. I started botching because I'm not against her. when she was working Metaphor, she wasn't that bad as someone who does hyping. But she rarely went in the ring, particularly after she broke her wrist. So we rarely saw her wrestle. And I'm not saying she's bad as a wrestler. It's just we barely seen her. And we get nothing from someone we rarely seen. So the match didn't feel great. It felt one-sided. Because you only had Lash Legends against Alba Dawn and Alba Fire. So in the end, did you actually believe you're going to see some change? No, it's too close to SummerSlam. And I'm not saying that Alba Dawn and Alba Fire are going to just drop those titles that quickly before Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill can do anything. But I gotta say this. Between Lash Legends and Jade Cargill, I want to make this clear. Both of them are former basketball players. And I'm telling you this. Who looks more polished? Honestly, and it's weird to say this, Lash Legends is more polished than Jade Cargill. And understand, for me personally, when you see Jade Cargill, she is like this. She is a goddess. She is physically gorgeous and built like a brick chicken house. She's got abs that most men want. She is built very well compared to Lash, who is not as well defined as her. There's no lie about it. Lash is not built like her. She doesn't have the definition. Yeah, she's a good looking woman herself. But if you're talking about just raw performance in the ring, doing it correctly, Lash has got it done. And this shows you the difference between a Jade Cargill who is protected in AEW as TBS champion compared to Lash Legends, who was not that great when it came to her gimmick, who had to learn how to really work not only a match, but actually to talk and to be at least somewhat charismatic. And I look at Jade Cargill, and I see Jade Cargill, Lash Legends. And I'm not even a Lash Legends fan. You just see it. Jade needs more work. I wish she went to NXT and built from the ground up there, but they refused to do it like AJ Styles. AJ himself said, I wish I went from the NXT instead of going to the main roster. I had to work my ass off to understand how the difference between a independent promotion or like TNA does their camera work and how they do their stuff compared to WWE at the time when he came in. Let's move on. The Heritage Cup. We got Tavion Heights versus a... Let me give it to you like this. When you look at Tony D'Angelo, you know he had worked in the NCAA. He had been wrestling. So it's not like he doesn't know how to do real Greco-Roman wrestling, or at least mat wrestling, or amateur wrestling. He has been trained. Then you look at Tavion, and you think, what are we going to get in the ring? Are we going to get kind of like real grapple wrestling? You did. Was it great? No. The first two rounds felt more like something that you might do if you were wrestling in an amateur wrestling ring, which was fine. I enjoyed it. But you can see by the third match, they had to change it up. So round 1, nothing happened. Round 2, nothing happened. But it was good grapple wrestling. They were doing what they probably would normally do, but they exaggerated a little bit. Because normally in amateur wrestling, they would have grabbed each other much more vigorously, much more fast. But in pro wrestling, we don't want that. We want to do it more slowly. We want to get like emotions from the fans. That's the reason why it was much slower down. Now, by the third match, you know who won. You know who got that match. You know that Tony D got it. But then, when you see Sinclair come out, and Red Sinclair just smacks Tavion in the face twice, and that's mainly due to the fact that she wants into No Quarter Catch Crew so bad, she can taste it. And you can see her continue talking to Charlie Dempsey, begging him. Well, I think her is more of a little bit of a thing, because let's make it clear. She's basically got his balls in her pocket because of whatever she saw, which was getting someone thrown into the back of a car trunk. So she got his balls in her purse. So he's more like a girl than he is like a guy. So he's letting her get away with a lot of stuff. But her smacking Tavion in the face got him to win that second shot, where now was tied up. But by the fifth match, it was over. Tony D won. Now the thing is, where do we go now? Now, here's the thing. We've already seen that the No Quarter Catch crew has gone to TNA. They were dealing with the Rascals. They now had 2 matches with the Rascals. One before Slammiversary with Kushida, and one during Slammiversary with Wesley. They won the one on TNA Impact, but then they won the one on Slammiversary. Here's the problem. I don't want to see another match between the No Quarter Catch crew and the Rascals on TNA. I don't. But here's the thing. What else can they do now? There was already Charlie Dempsey trying to get the Heritage Cup back, and he could not himself. Then Tavion tried, and that didn't work. Now Bourne may be the next person to try, but the problem here is we've seen it multiple times, and it's time to move on. But what does the Quarter Catch crew do now? Tony D doesn't really have to worry too much about his stick as a Heritage Cup champion. Well, he doesn't need to. People will come to him instead of him going to other people. People will mess with him and then other people. That's what happened when you have a championship, or in his case, the Heritage Cup. So I don't see anything for the No Quarter Catch crew at all. Unless they do some type of twist that maybe, just maybe, we might get, well, really what Charlie Dempsey needs is his dad smack him in the ass and say, "What the hell are you doing?" And that would be William. I really would like to see William Regal face his son and either not smack him in the ass, but smack him in the face and says, "What are you doing?" Smack in the face. "What are you doing?" He smacks him twice and says, "I'm taking over the Quarter Catch crew now." And he's the one who leads it. And he's the one that guides everybody for a little while, because they got nothing else for them to do. Moving on. We get Briggs Jensen versus Cedric Alexander. Let me give it to you like this. Seeing him with a Shawn Spears. Okay. When it comes to Briggs Jensen. Here's the thing. Where are we going? Are we going to get Jensen really getting somewhere? Or is he just going to keep losing and losing until we get a change where it's Briggs, Josh, joins a... Do I actually believe that this will actually happen? That Josh Briggs will work with Shawn Spears, and Shawn Spears will dump Jensen because Josh is much more better prospect than Jensen is. Even though he won in that street fight they had. It's going to be a big question. Because it feels like Josh should be more important than Jensen. But we still got a lot more development. We don't know. You never know. 6-woman tag. I don't know what this is about. Yes, it was nice to get all the women into that match. Look, Lola Vice, So Luca, Petrovic. Yeah, it was nice to get them all in there. But what did it really give us? Because a faction that doesn't even have a name, and that is with JC James, we got Nyx, and we got Fallon Henley, who at this point, she's ready for the main roster, and so is JC James. They're both ready. They literally are both ready, but the problem is, I don't think they have any room for those women right now. And to be honest, even if they had room for them on the main roster, does that mean they're going to get booked? Because they're still having a problem booking the women on the main roster. They're now beginning to try and book some of the women that have been sitting in the back. But honestly, when it comes to James, when it comes to Fallon Henley, I don't know why they're still there. They both have gone through their own arcs. And honestly, they both need a change. And seeing JC James with that mask on is still not enough for me personally. Just not enough. Now, opening of the show. When you see Hank and Tank trying to... What the hell were they doing? Trying to hack into the system. Trying to find a way to become the host of the Great American Bash. Which they do become one. And they become correspondents. And we're talking. It was stupid, but it was funny. So I will give it that. In the very beginning, it was stupid, it was funny. Looking at Tank doing a cartwheel trying to avoid laser beams. laser beams, was entertaining. It was stupid. But it was, I'm not surprised. They are on Sci-Fi. They want to do something different. The Rascals wanting to get a shot, well, technically, MBK. They want another shot. Haven't had one since Wentz had to leave because of Kimberly. Let's make this clear. Let's make this abundantly clear. He should never left. They should never got rid of him. Kimberly was unstable. Kimberly has treated him badly. And we know Kimberly has been having problems with the law. I don't know if she's not in court right now, but she was. She's been very unstable. And I believe when it came to Zachary Wentz, he deserved way better than what he got. Legitimately. But he's back for the moment. And he's getting a shot at the NXT Tag Championships because Axiom signed the paper to allow the match, which will be next week. And Frazier didn't like it due to the fact that now they switched positions where Frazier was not focusing on the tag titles and Axiom was. Now it's the reverse. And now the question is going to be, what is going to happen next week? Will they literally pull the trigger on letting MBK legitimately win the tag titles and take them to TNA? I will tell you this. If Zach and Wes win those tag titles, I will be legitimately happy, surprised, and depending on how TNA is going to book them, because there's no way they're not going to let them go up against ABC. It's not like they're going to combine the titles, but if they book them correctly, at least ABC will have something new. They will go up against Wentz and Wes, and it'll be not title versus title, but champion versus champion. Does not mean they'll combine the titles, but at least they will give us something different for the next TNA Plus show. Because that's what I think will happen. That's if next week they win. If they don't win, I will not be surprised. Because as I said before, NXT, TNA. Gallus and Joe Henry. Let me give it to you like this. Was it a good segment? Yes. I'm not joshing on Joe. He can sing. He can play music. He can play the guitar. As he said when he was with Chris Van Vliet, if you want me to do a song, you're going to have to give me some time because I'm not someone who can do it off the cuff. I got to practice it until I know it like by heart. Which he probably practiced after an entire week, which he did. When he did his song, Messing with Gallus, guess who comes out? Gallus. And Joe Coffey doesn't like him. They beat the crap out of him. They give him the Jeff Jarrett treatment, hitting him over the back with the guitar. And then that's it. Now, next week, what do we get? 250 pounds worth of motivation in the ring. Joe Henry will kick the ass, or arse. I'll say arse, of Joe Coffey. Is what we get. Now, do I believe this is a good show next week for that? It's not bad, but I'm not too surprised because I got to do something with Joe Henry. Look, Joe Henry is now the one who is the most important person in TNA. I'm sorry, he is. It's not Jordan Grace now. Jordan Grace, I love Jordan. She is the most dominant woman we've seen in so long in pro wrestling, next to Camille and Forrest Jade Cargill. But when it comes to Jordan Grace, it's the first time in years we've had a legitimate, true to life, strong as hell who holds a world championship in lifting for state wrestler, female wrestler. You can believe that she can take on a full-grown man and lift a full-grown man easily. That's way larger than her. When she gave that driver to Bully, that wasn't a joke. Bully could jump up in the air, but she had to do the rest of the work herself. She's not a weak woman for 5'3". She's actually a little bit taller than my original mom, who was 5 foot tall. Just to let you guys know, women who are that small does not mean they're weak. They got dense bones. Be careful. Don't ever think you can get hit by a woman who's maybe, 5 foot tall, a little bit shorter, and their bones are not dense. I've been hit by my mom, and that woman had some dense ass bones when she was young. So I could tell you this: Jordan is not a joke. But this is all we got. Joe Henry is the most important person here. So seeing him gonna have a match with Joe Coffey, it's gonna be great for him. But as I said before, what is TNA gaining? What is TNA gaining? You guys tell me below. What is TNA gaining out of this? What? Are they getting more stars coming to from NXT to them? I don't know. Hopefully, Joe Henry getting so much exposure will be able to help TNA. But if it doesn't, we gain nothing. Now, final match of the night. I know I'm probably missing something. And I am. I'm not. Oh, yeah. I'm not going to talk about Kiana James. I'm not going to talk about Tatum Paxley or Wendy Chu. I'm leaving it out. The match that I felt was the best match of the night for night one, and that was the Women's Championship. That was Thea Hale. I don't know why I botched Thea's last name. Maybe it's due to the fact that when you look at Thea and you look at Roxanne, these are two women that have earned their stripes. You can say a lot about Thea. She worked with everything that HBK gave her. When you see Roxanne Perez, she's worked with everything they've thrown at her. Guaranteed, she's busted her ass even when she worked against Jordan Grace. Both of them had to go through the similar thing. Someone brought them in, they got somewhere, and in some cases they got not great storytelling given to them, and they had to make it work. So now you got two women who worked on, well, let's give it like this. Do they both have good ability to talk? Yes. Do they both have charisma? Yes. Do they both go well in the ring? Yes. Because you look at this match, this was a match that could have been left for a pay-per-view. I'm telling the truth. Their match was that good. It was able to really mean something. Yes, we got two women that are maybe around 5'4", 5'3", 5'5". Let's make it clear they're both not tall women, but they made it work. They both were about the same height. They both busted their butt in the ring. We got a lot of cross faces, a lot of Kimura locks, yes. But at least it looked majority believable. We got a good amount of work. And as you could tell, Roxanne Perez is not like a Thea Hale. She's not going to hold back. She's going to cheat if she's got to maintain her title. And Booker T was behind it 100% because he was happy his girl won. So I can tell you, she won again, which is fine. I'm all right if they don't got anything for her on the main roster. Let her hold the title until they do have something. Because just like I said for JC James and Fallon Henley, when they should move on because there's nothing left for them to do on the NXT roster, if Roxanne Perez has nothing for her on the main roster, let her keep the title. And I truly, truly believe that this was a good night one. Night two is going to be a big question. What are we actually going to get, like with Trick Williams dealing with the Bruiserweight? What are we going to get from a Ethan Page dealing with Mensa? Let me give it. I know I skipped the Mensa and Ethan Page contract signing. I did that on purpose. I left it out, not because it was bad, because it was fine. It's not about the talk now. It's going to be about what they're going to do with Ethan and what they're going to do with I don't know what they're going to do there. I do not know if they're going to really give Mensa the title. I do not know if they'll be willing to give it to him. When we know that Trick needs to start building back up, I don't know if they want to go there. I just don't. I think they still want to keep it on Ethan. But it's just me. Peace.